social media platforms: YouTube UTV 124, Facebook UTV 124, Instagram UTV 124, Twitch UTV 124, TikTok UTV_124, and Flow TV channel 124. Remember, UTV, TV for you. Welcome to the Entertainment Nation on steroids. UTV and Hits FM, sinking the eyes and the ears of tomorrow today. Not only can you see it, you can feel it. Airing on channel 124 or tune into radio 92.1 FM is Trisha Lionel in the morning at 11 and the ever controversial Revolution with Christopher Hunt. That's right, we don't do it normal. Stay locked in with UTV and Hits FM, channel 124 and 92.1 FM. UTV, TV for you.
Welcome, good evening, and come to another Saturday Sports Night. As always, I'm your presenter, Anthony de Beauville, and of course, let me apologize for last week. We had a little glitch, but we're back on this weekend, and of course, you're live on UTV channel 124, and of course, you can join us on Facebook, UTV channel 124 as well. Our telephone numbers 572-7588 or 484-7588. As always, I simply hope each and every one of you had a enjoyable week and look forward to a restful weekend. I have quite a bit in store. Of course, starting from West Indies cricket, international cricket, and St. Lucia team at the Olympic. And they will be on from tomorrow. Our laser radial will be competing tomorrow at the Olympic, and of course we have an in-studio guest which you don't want to miss. So, just before coming to the studio, South Africa, they were reeling at 45 for 6. They are now 187 for 8 after 47 overs. With Zampa and Ega, they have already put on 57 for the 9th wicket. And of course, you will be aware that the second ODI, which was scheduled for Thursday, was postponed due to a non-playing member of the West Indies team who was tested positive for COVID. The event or the game was postponed up until today, and the final one, which was scheduled for today, will now be played on Monday. Coming back into today's game, Australia 187 for 8, Philippe 16, McDermott not, Marsh 8, Henrique 4, Kerry 10, Turner 1, Wade 36, Stark 19, Zampa not out 46, and Ega not out 40. Bowling for the West Indies, Cottrell 1 for 28, Holder 1 for 41, Joseph 2 for 39, Hussein 3 for 30, and Walsh 1 for 32. And if you can recall, Australia bounced back on Tuesday when they defeated the West Indies by 133 runs at the Oval, that's in Kensington, Barbados, after the West Indies defeating them 4-1 in the 5-match T20 series. Of course, the tourists set West Indies a reasonable target, batting first and making 2-5, 2-for-9 in 49 overs. Then crashed through the West Indies opposition batting lineup to bowl out the West Indies for 123 to take a 1-0 lead in the 3-match series. The Australian made a solid start with Jos Philippe 39 and Beck McDermott 28, compiling 51 opening stand before Philippe was dismissed in the 11th over. Mitchell Marsh, who dominated the T20 series with the bat, made 20 before being dismissed by medium pacer Alzarri Joseph, and Maurice Henrique 7 followed soon afterwards to leave Australia reeling at free for 99. At the end, Australia went on to score 252, but West Indies, they started badly, losing Irvin Lewis in the first delivery. And of course, it was haywire from there for West Indies. Mitchell Starc finished with 5 for 48, and Mitchell Marsh 3 for 11. They defeated West Indies by 133 runs. And this was the West Indies' third biggest defeat against the Aussies. And we have some picks here for you to see. Footy today, Walsh Jr., Alzarri Joseph, and that's $187. We turn our attention to Sundays cricket, and if you missed it again last week, the first time in the 3-year history of the Sundays sponsored under-19 cricket, rain interrupted. And for the first time in the history of the tournament, the two finalists shared the championship, which is the Central Castries team and the St. Lucia Sports Academy, the newcomer in this year's tournament. The day showpiece was played between the two teams at the Bosseju Cricket Ground. Central Castries had a tough first session on the field as they were without the services of the right-arm fast bowler, McKenny Clapp, off-spinner and leading wicket taker in the tournament, Keegan Arnold, and the captain, wicket-keeper batsman, Akib Ogis. The trio are currently at the University of the West Indies Cable Campus in Barbados. Batting first, the St. Lucia Sports Academy rattled up the highest total in this year's tournament, 271 all-out in 44.2 overs, with Royce Paul scoring his maiden century, 106. He was ably supported by wicketkeeper batsman Noel Leo with 92. The pair added 146 for the fifth wicket. At one stage, the Sports Academy were 42 for 4, with Kensley Paul, Kevin Gassi, Jahil Evans and Tariq Edward back in the players' pavilion. Bowling for Central Castries, F1 Charles 3 for 24 and Jaden Elibox 2 for 47. Chasing 272 for victory, Central Castries would 93 for 1 before heavy rain came after 19.4 overs to put a damper on what was turning out to be an interesting run chase. With the not-out batsman F1 Charles 45 and Densley Gidhari 25, the pair had added 67 for the first wicket. From here on, there was no further play. And I can tell you, that was a very intriguing run chase by the Central Castries team. And trust me, I strongly believe they will have won this encounter. We have some picks here for you on the day's proceedings. And that's Royce Paul batting. He went up to score 106. And that's all this pick there for me. Let's go back on this pick here. The previous pick. The previous one. Royce Paul. And look at this catch coming up here. Kerrick Victor caught behind by Noel Leo with the score 26. Kevin Gassi And this young boy, he has a cricket mind, and certainly once they harness the talent that he has, he will go far in playing the sports for St. Lucia. And that's Densley Digari. He was not out on 25. So here you have it. The finals or the championship was shared between the two teams, Central Castries and the St. Lucia Sports Academy. Quickly, we look at football. Matches continue tomorrow in the St. Lucia Football Association sponsored Sports and Awards Club Championship. In the Premier Division, Northern United versus Tiwoche from 5 p.m. and Moshi versus GMC from 7 p.m. Both matches will be played at the Ancillary Playing Field. Also tomorrow at the Philip Astor Grounds in Vieux-Fort from 5 p.m. Knights versus El Nino at 5, and from 7 Platinum versus Uptown, and that's a Vieux-Fort derby. The Premier League is led by Platinum FC with 9 points, Moshi United, GMC United, and Northern United. They are all on 6 points each. So you can go out tomorrow and view some of the action both at the Vieux-Fort at the Philip Astor Grounds, and of course the Ancillary Playing Field. We turn our attention now to Tokyo, and of course you will be aware that the postponed 2020 Tokyo Olympic game kicked off yesterday with a opening ceremony, and St. Lucia will start their games or medal hunt, I should say, because you have to be confident, right? We don't just go into the Olympic just for going to the Olympic, but we have to say our medal hunt commences tomorrow. First to compete are sailors Luc Chevier and Stephanie Deveau-Lovell. The duo will start the campaign in the men and women one-person laser radial. The opening ceremony took place yesterday, decked in St. Lucia colors. 4-time Olympian and world-renowned high jumper Levin Spencer and swimmer Jean-Luc Zeffier proudly carried the St. Lucia national flag. The official contingent of the 2020 Olympic Games in Japan was announced by the St. Lucia Olympic Committee, SLOC Inc., President Fortuna Belrose, during a press conference on Tuesday, 26 June, at the St. Lucia Olympic House, or headquarters, in La Clery Castries. The chosen athletes will be competing in 3 disciplines: track and field, sailing, and swimming. The aquatic team is made up of swimmers Michele Schalmine in the 50-meter free and Jean-Luc Zeffier in the 100-meter free. Jean-Luc will compete on Tuesday, 27th, and Schalmine on Friday, 30th July. Sailors Luc Chevier and Stephanie Deveau will start the campaign tomorrow, as I mentioned, while the lone track and field athlete Levin Spencer will go into battle in the women's high jump on Thursday, 5th August. Henry Bailey is the team chef de mission and head of delegation, and Brian Charles, swimming coach. As always, we at UTV, and of course our viewers, we wish Team St. Lucia the very best at the Olympics, and we have some interesting picks for you as well. Yeah? Okay, we will take a break, but when we come back, we go straight into our guests.
UTV.
I know you want to say
got it. If you identify with the most pulsating, the most riveting, the most eye-capturing UTV. To advertise with UTV, dial 484-7588 or 572-7588. For some of the most competitive rates, amazing programming, and bang for your buck. The most popular streaming channel, UTV 124 on Facebook. Get it now! Check us out on Instagram at UTV 124. Email us utvslu@gmail.com. UTV. It's not just for me. It's definitely TV for you.
protocols for international visitors while in St. Lucia. The following protocols are established to guide the stay of all guests while on island in order to mitigate any possible spread of infection. During the first 14 days, visitors are allowed to patronize approved beaches, restaurant, sea and land excursions, and sites and attractions. All visits are scheduled and pre-arranged by their respective accommodation providers. During this period, all visitors will be transported to and from the certified sites using only COVID-19 certified tourism transportation. After the first 14 days, if any visitor wishes to stay on island beyond the 14-day period, they must apply for and receive a health clearance certificate from the Ministry of Health. Visitors will be allowed to travel, be out in the wider public and patronize local businesses unsupervised once health clearance certificates have been received. During their entire stay, visitors must wear their masks whenever they are in public places and maintain the mandatory 6 feet distancing from others.
Yoshiri Bareb, channel 124. What is that? UTV, that stands for under, ground.
Then you find the Fisher Fox balance. Patient Eddie Mercury say Buddha. And then you wonder Puji Mercury superior, lasts longer and even faster. Mercury C Pro Swasson Kids. Catwivedis, Anson Kids, Anson Second, Exessa horsepower. Please warranty on the market and the price is right for your pocket. A Chalma they will make me use my vocabulary. Mercury's performance, durability, fuel efficiency, especially Mercury give plibo puyo. Machine Mercury says C-Pro. Machine Mercury coming on clean way, believe it. Let me show them on your Machine Mercury to Bali. Mwevle ukute saidi.
Avant moun te ka di Mercury se bonda, a Chalma Mercury ki met bonda.
Maman, machine sa ou sa bay gas, me ou pa ka pile gas. Mercury Sea Broker distributed par Island Marine Supplies Rodney Bay Marina. Pour plus d'informations, priez 450 9879.
Welcome back. Like I said, you can fasten your seatbelt because we are about to take off. But before we do that, we'll go back to the last story with some pics of our St. Lucia Olympians in Tokyo. Because on arrival in Japan, the St. Lucia contingent, Meliki and Jaluk. This is Sean Mine here. Of course, normally person take a time out for a photo moment, and swimming coach Brian Charles. And of course, while they were up in Tokyo, they had a training camp. So they see them here at a training camp just before the games. And tomorrow we have Stephanie Lovell Divo, or Divo Lovell will be competing, and Jaluk Chivry in the laser event. Levan Spencer will be competing on Thursday, 5th August. And here photo moments by our athletes minutes before the opening ceremony. Of course, Team St. Lucia So here you have it. As always, like I said, we wish our athletes the very best, and also those representing the sub-region, especially from the OECS, and of course the region as well, like Jamaica, Barbados, Trinidad, Guyana, and all the way down to Suriname and Bermuda and Bahamas in the north and south. So let's hope that our people will make us proud, even if they don't come back with a medal, but in terms of personal best times and heights and distances, we again wish them all the very best. Now, to my guests. St. Lucia men's single player for over 40 years, 11th time OECS single champion, 2-time Caribbean single champion, over 30 single Davis Cup victories, over Guatemala, Bahamas, Bermuda, Barbados, Bolivia, Panama, Ecuador, Costa Rica, Netherlands, Antilles, the US Virgin Islands. ITF Davis Cup Achievement Award, St. Lucia Sports Hall of Fame inductee, and MBE Award. And I'm speaking of no other. And I consider him to be an icon of the sport in this country. And like I said before, when I called you an icon, you deserve to be called an icon and great. It's not a passa word. Great. To my immediate right, Vernon Lewis. Good evening. And welcome to UTV. Of course, we were scheduled to meet last week, but we had a little hiccup. So we've settled that, and we have you now. Even before I start, some persons have already sent greetings to you. Dave Pascal.
Thanks.
And a friend from New York, when he saw the clip that I was having you. Grant, former customs officer.
Okay.
All right.
Thanks.
And then John Bruce, who told me at one time you did coach his daughter, Laura Bruce.
Yes.
So those persons have, and many others, they have actually sent in their greetings to you and wish you well as you continue your journey, not only, but in terms of your academy, as you continue to develop the young people in the sport of tennis.
Thanks. I appreciate the well wishes, and I reciprocate.
Okay. Well, I know they're on air. They're watching. But let's kick it off here. In terms of how it all started for you in tennis.
Oh boy,
That's in a nutshell.
Yeah. Well, it like I've said before, it started almost, I don't know if you could say, it's sort of by accident, but some things are meant to be. But it kind of started in a way like by accident, like I've always said. I played a lot of soccer, a lot of cricket, growing up at Arundel Hill in Marsha. My mother was a teacher at Marsha School. I went to RC Boys, and I came from a family of sports people. Like I always said, my uncle Martin Wicks was a great cricketer. He played for St. Lucia, and a great footballer for Shamrock. So that's where my sporting love came from going to watch him play, and also playing with all of my friends at Marsha Field and cricket for RC. And I came out of a class in RC which had some of the greatest footballers, with Jayut, Titus, and Austin, and Go Brown, and all of these. I was part of that class. I was much younger than them, but I was in that class, So football and cricket, I was playing at a high level, and my father had access to tennis and golf or whatever, and I just found a racket. I was playing cricket with it, and my father's neighbor Oliver Sampson said, "This is a tennis racket," and he had me hit against his garage wall, and then because of how I was playing, he said, "You have to play tennis." So you see. So that's why I say it's sort of by accident, but so it was. So tennis became very easy for me to learn for some reason because of all the other sports I played. So I never really struggled to learn to play it. So,
but when you first started playing, which are the venues you use? that was closest to you or you had access to?
Okay, well, back in those days, the venues, we used a lot of hotels, facilities, and these were the main venues we used: La Talk, Rex and Lucian House, and obviously, they would allow us. It wasn't like if we were allowed to, but the management and so on were kind to the young players who came there. La Talk was organized by Johnny Easter, so it had an organized membership and things like that, which none of us could afford in those days, really. But because of the way we played, they allowed us to play. And you can't forget Palm Beach.
Yeah.
Palm Beach played a very important role. Palm Beach was owned by the Clark family, and they had that court right by where Sandals was.
Presently,
They allowed all the juniors to play there for free. So if you couldn't find a court anywhere, you could always go on Palm Beach and play. But Palm Beach had its little membership also. Okay. You had to play at a certain time. So these were the main venues, and then you can't forget the Gardens.
The Gardens, yeah, the famous Gardens.
The Gardens, the Gardens had the 2 courts, and the Gardens had their crew of people from nearby, as you would say, Conway.
Yeah.
They had their good players in the days, Peggy and there's another guy, he used to call him Skinny.
Skinny?
Yeah.
I think, yeah.
But he was also a very good player, and Oswald Dovey played a lot there too.
Okay.
Who was #1 in St. Lucia forward, and his brother David, like both of them shared the #1 rankings in St. Lucia. So they were sort of, from the Gardens too, in a way, but they played a lot of La Talk. So these were the main venues.
Okay. But in terms of starting off representing St. Lucia, where it all started?
Okay, well, I started. I didn't have much of a junior career because although I became the #1 junior very quickly, but I became quite good so young that I started playing on the men's team young at 13. So my junior career kind of like was sort of cut short in a sense because I was already playing on the men's team at 13. So I was traveling with the men. So I had a very early introduction to men's tennis. So at 17, I became the #1 men. So you see, so everything happened at the junior age. All the men things, I became #1 in the OECS men at 18. So you see, all the men things happened to me in my junior years. Yeah. So I had to forget about junior tennis and focus on defending, men's championships. You understand?
You started playing the Davis in 1991.
Yeah, 1991.
And then. Any particular reason why St. Lucia didn't return in 2006 to the Davis Cup?
Up to a day like today, I don't really have the answer to why they. I think they played the last one in 2006, I believe.
Yeah.
In El Salvador. Yeah, because I was a member of that team also, and we actually had a very successful showing in El Salvador. We got to the final match against Barbados to get promoted, as we had done in the past. And in the past, we had beaten Barbados in that same situation, where we were left with one doubles match. And whoever won that doubles match would have been promoted. And we lost that doubles match. But I had gone undefeated in singles, and that last Davis Cup, I went four singles wins and no losses. Against Bermuda, Barbados, Panama, and the U.S. Virgin Islands. So it was a very successful Davis Cup for me, my last one. I was over 40, and so it was a very successful last Davis Cup. And the fact that we were so close to being promoted again, I don't understand what was the rationale to stopping the Davis Cup movement and so on. That's not my quest to answer because I wasn't part of, you know. But but hopefully, we can get back in it. We need to get back in it. We need to get back in a lot of those big tournaments, even at the junior level too. We need to be more consistent in being at these events consistently.
Yeah.
Because what it does to the youngsters, they need a resume so if their dream is college tennis, they need a good resume. And if they're not going to all these tournaments over their junior career, it makes it very hard for them to get into good schools, And not only that, for them to be match ready for the type of criteria that these people are looking for. And if you're not consistent at all of these big tournaments, I'm talking about the juniors. At the end of their few years being the juniors, they've been robbed of the kind of development they need to compete with everybody on the out there. So something that we have to work on. We have to really get together and try and organize. Get an organized, consistent schedule that we can maintain, year in and year out. If we can do it at the senior level, we need to get back to that level where we can do that consistently at the Davis Cup. But I'm talking about also the junior level.
But in your playing days of career, who are some of the persons that you played with?
Locally, wow, we there are a lot of good players growing up.
Because I know for a fact some of the younger, the now generation doesn't have an idea or know the names of this person, but you can.
Yeah, and you see, it's not only the players that we had here, but I'll start with those we had here. We had Oswald Dovey, the Dovey brothers, David Dovey, Oswald Dovey. We had Gary Sweetnam. We had Richard Allard. We had Albert Long, and my cousin was also a very good player, Lawrence Best. We represented St. Lucia together before he migrated to the U.S. And Randall Bain was also quite a good player, and Finn Bawili.
Yeah,
Finn Bawili. He was ahead of me, and you can't forget Johnny Easter. Johnny Easter was probably the most dominant player at that time in the Windward Islands, and he was
Johnny and Ken Easter.
Kenny, his son, was a generation after me, and you talk about Henry Simpson. He's a very good player too.
Even Henry Simpson.
Eve Simpson. These are generations after me, and Albert and Richilo. Generation after me, and then we have a very rich history of Glenn James and so many. And the good thing about tennis at the time, the Caribbean had a lot of good players too, and then the Brandon was at its peak in those days, and so you had players from all over the Caribbean played in different countries each year. So you'd have the best players from Jamaica at senior level coming to St. Lucia to play the Brandon. And so everybody's got a chance to watch Richard Russell from Jamaica.
Yeah.
And Richard Russell got to the third or the fourth round of Wimbledon, singles back then. People don't know that, so that's a very high achievement. Get me? Jamaican. And he played the Brandon just like all the other players from the Caribbean. He would come to represent Jamaica. You had the Bahamas, Leo Roll, John Antonas. You heard of Leo Roll?
Yeah.
Leo Roll was a fantastic player. I think Leo Roll played Alpha Ash in Davis Cup and gave him fits.
You also had locally here. You also had Trevor Hunt.
Trevor Hunt. Trevor, his brother Colin. They were all part of the good junior.
And so Sean Allen.
So Sean, that's true. So Sean, fantastic player too. The junior level and the senior level, Davis Cup teammate. And so what I'm saying is that the Caribbean tennis was rich rich not only with tennis but with characters that you could actually learn things from, emulate. People like Leo Roll, Adrian Clark, stoic characters who never got upset on the court, you know, and you know, the ultimate gentleman, you know, type of sportsman, you know, but number one top guys in the Caribbean. Both of them were probably number one in the Caribbean. And so young players had a lot of older players they could look up to and learn a lot from in all of these tournaments. So we were lucky to have that kind of history. It did a lot for us, you know. I mean, even growing up here, playing and watching Johnny Easter, playing with him on a daily basis, it did a lot for me. Playing a high-quality left-hander on a daily basis, you know, I think that was probably that was one of the great things that happened to me as a young player. You know, playing all these matches, and yeah. So,
but what made you so persistent in your early years, knowing that the history of tennis in St. Lucia was not one of the, like you said, you didn't pick up cricket and football, but you went into tennis. Mm-hmm. Were there any regulations and costs attached to the tennis then?
Yeah, well, there were always regulations and there were always costs. But I guess what helped me is the fact that you know, thank God, you know, I became good so fast that, you know, I was almost like it was a credit. It was a benefit for me to be at those places. So you know, I have to be thankful to Johnny Easter at the time too. He didn't allow me to pay membership at La Top because of how well I was doing as a junior. So I got not to worry about, you know, paying a membership. You know, I probably couldn't pay it anyway. Because my cousin and I used to walk to the court from everywhere and walk back home, and with little to eat and drink. So I don't think we would be able to pay the membership anyway.
And up to like today, people still struggle to pay, right? Yeah. But let me ask you, you had this distinguished honor to play 53 ties for St. Lucia. The record for the number of ties then stand at 87.
Yeah.
Was that record within your reach?
For sure. Yeah. Oh yeah. Because I missed some years in between the years I played, and I've missed so many years after 2006. So I told you, the last time I played, I was undefeated. Yeah. So I could have played a lot more. So you know, I could have gotten close to the record, or maybe have it. You know.
You were disappointed?
No, I wasn't disappointed about it. You know, I'm happy of what I was able to do at the time, and you know, it has happened. Whatever that stopped the Davis Cup, and it's just a matter of trying to get things, you know, together again to bring it back to where it was, or, you know, look towards the future.
Not many sportsmen carry the title Sportsman of the Year. Darren Sammy, and at present we have Albert Reynolds, 3, Zephanius Joseph, 2, Victor Ledgers, 2. But the years 1984, 1991, and 1992, Sportsman of the Year, John Easter for tennis, twice, 1975, 1978. Okay. Inducted in the St. Lucia Tennis Association Hall of Fame in 2019, during the St. Lucia Tennis Association first ever sports award. What was those moments like for you?
It's always nice to receive awards. So you always I just I'm always thankful for whatever that your hard work has brought you. So every time you get an award, it's not something that you get egotistical about, but it's always something that you always equate it to hard work, and it's almost like the award is for the hard work more than for you, if you know what I'm saying. So awards basically are just saying that it is okay to work hard. Whoever wants to work hard, and you will be rewarded for it. Really, that's how I see awards. It's not anything to carry, to make your head big or anything. You know what I'm saying? But it's something that like when you're sweating and you're doing things and nobody's seeing, that type of way. And then one day, something, hey, look, here's something, then you say, oh, when you were being frustrated and you still, and so that's this, so. And then some awards you may touch you more, like the Davis Cup Award, the ITF Davis Cup Award, being only the 4 players from the Caribbean and the first set in the world, of the first 100 or whatever.
First 100.
100 and some, I can't remember, in the world to receive it, and to be for your name to be put in the headquarters in London with all the players permanently. It'll always be there. So those sorts of awards, they obviously carry some kind of a greater significance to you because it has gone beyond your shores to somewhere else.
And of course the MBE. Just tell us quickly on the MBE.
Well, the MBE, another award that was touching too. Is, same thing, you get into a sport accidentally and you have fun and you work hard at it, you really strive, and then one day someone says, here, something as big as this, which was designed in England, obviously, for people who work really hard and sacrifice and give great service to their country or their people and all of these things that it represents. So it has a significance.
What was it like for you when you received that all-important call?
It was, honestly, it was a bit like you're surprised in a way, because sometimes you live, maybe a lot of people have passed away before they reach my age. So you don't know what's going to happen, if you're going to get something like this before or whatever. So when you get a call and you're alive to hear it, it's nice to know that you can feel the some crowning of the hard work whilst you're alive, and then and hopefully if you can have people to enjoy it with, it's even better. That it's not just a personal achievement, but something you can share with your people or with somebody.
Okay.
It's even better.
Before we go to the break, we have some pics for you to see, and you will certainly enjoy it.
Okay.
Especially the first one. Let's hold this there for a second.
Oh yeah.
Just explain that.
Well, these are actually my first 2 trophies in my entire life.
Okay.
And what was going on there? The St. Lucia was hosting the Barnard Cup at this tournament. This is the Latop Rocket Club. And as you can tell, these are clay courts. We don't have clay courts in St. Lucia anymore. But these are not hard courts. These are clay courts, sand, like the French Open, except these are gray. And so that's one unique thing about it. It's a facility that doesn't exist anymore. It turned it into hard courts. And as you can tell, the lady handing the trophy to me is our first female parliamentarian, the Honorable Sports Minister, Honorable
Helena Rock.
Yes,
Helena Rock, right?
Heraldine Rock.
Yeah.
And so that's for me, that's the big significance of it. She being the first female parliamentarian, giving me my first trophy. And as you can tell on the right in the corner, that's Mr. Julian Hunt, way in the corner, and he was involved in tennis. So you know him as the political.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
you see him in tennis there, and Mr. Roger Sutherland,
yeah,
who was also
in tennis.
in
as well,
tennis.
yeah.
And
The heydays of tennis.
yes, so it's
Okay,
wonderful.
let's continue with some of the picks. That's your hair again.
Yes.
You know, you have some more hair.
Yeah, that's on the National
Yeah.
Tennis Center. Yeah, these are tournaments that I played at the National Tennis Center. I played a few tournaments. I played some OECS tournaments there and some other tournaments.
Because that's you here with the president of Tennis Association.
Yeah,
With the Davis Cup Award.
yeah. That was at the sports.
Of course, former Minister of Sports, Sean Edward, presenting. And you here
Wow, I never saw that
shaking
photo.
shaking hands
Wow.
with then
Wow.
Dame Governor General Dame Colette Louisy.
I never saw that photo, but that's a really nice one.
And of course, you were here 2 years ago receiving the award, inductee of the Hall of Fame of the St. Lucia Tennis Association.
From Miss Fortuna.
Fortuna Belrose.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's it right
Fortuna.
here.
Yeah, who was also a good tennis player, Fortuna.
Oh yes, in a days.
Yeah, she was a national player, national tennis player,
And that's you here.
and that's at the Eddie Herr tournament in the U.S.
Okay.
It's a junior tournament held at the Nick Bollettieri Tennis Academy. And it's a very big tournament for juniors all around the world. And it's a tournament that, the young players, we should try to get our young players to try to play these tournaments every year. Because these are the tournaments where everyone comes. And that's where, if you do well at these tournaments, you're pretty much set.
Okay.
Because everybody is there watching. And it's not hard to get in. As long as you have a good national ranking, you can get into these tournaments.
Okay.
Because they treat you as a nation. And if you have the number 1 and the number 2 players are usually accepted at the junior level. So whereas if you're from the US, you're going to have to reproduce rankings. So it's accessible, and it's something that we should think about, because these are the tournaments that everybody from all over the world plays, and everybody watches, and if you do well, scholarships and everything follow.
We will take our final break and come back with more with our icon tennis player, MBE, Vernon Lewis.
Available at Red Dot in Grosile and Susie's Varieties in Bois de Wange and Vieux-Fort.
Welcome to the Entertainment Nation on steroids. UTV and Hits FM, sinking the eyes and the ears of tomorrow today. Not only can you see it, you can feel it. Airing on channel 124 or tune into Radio 92.1 FM is Trisha Lionel in the morning at 11 and the ever controversial Revolution with Christopher Hunt. That's right, we don't do it normal. Stay locked in with UTV and Hits FM, channel 124 and 92.1 FM. UTV, TV for you. Thanks for tuning in to your favorite content creator, UTV. To find out more, follow us on our social media platforms: YouTube UTV124, Facebook UTV124, Instagram UTV124, Twitch UTV124, TikTok UTV_124 and Flow TV channel 124. Remember, UTV, TV for you.
Welcome back, and of course I know you'll dash, because it's Olympic time, you'll dash to the fridge and dash to get something to drink and eat. A little popcorn now, you know, so let's roll again. Somebody just WhatsApp me here and said Glenn James and Gary Eugene, first gold Carifta medal for St. Lucia in men's double. I just want to say thank you for the information. I mean, we do appreciate, you know, things like this.
That's true.
And of course, someone just said, Helen Rock is the first female elected parliamentarian, and Miss Lucille Lord was a nominated senator, the first female. Again, I want to say thank you to a good friend of mine. And I know he follows the program from start to finish. And of course, that's John Quinlan. I just want to say thank you. And of course,
and thanks for the information on Gary and
the info
on their first
from
the Carifta goal.
Yeah, from Miss Medrick. Yeah. That's Jordan Medrick's mum. Of course, my good friend here, Vernon, was Jordan's coach from age 4. So you can imagine how that relationship continue. And right now, Jordan is overseas at university.
She hasn't gone yet.
She hasn't gone yet? She's still there?
Yeah.
Okay. My apologies. I really thought she had gone already.
I said it for last night.
Okay.
And her dad asked me if I bought my handkerchief already.
You know? Yeah, it was just some tears. Okay, Vernon, you recently held or staged or hosted a 2-day tennis championship at the National Tennis Center with little or no fanfare at all. And that was due to the COVID-19, and of course, persons had to adhere to the protocols and things. Question.
Yeah.
It was a successful tournament at the end, with some of the best elite players competing. How difficult it was for you to get assistance for the tournament?
I wouldn't. I wouldn't say that I really went to any extensive a lot of a big list of people, but the little that I tried, it was not it wasn't really forthcoming, but it's something that it's not, I wouldn't say just for tournaments. It's something that we have to look at in the future. And not just for tennis tournaments, but for the travel of players, top juniors, and even players who want to pursue professional careers and all that. We really have to take these things very seriously, and we have to start putting our money where our mouth is. So I'm not, let's put it that way. Funding has always been a big issue for not every sport in St. Lucia. Every sport, and not just on the tournament level. So it's something that the ministry and everybody, the powers that are involved in
corporate
sports,
St. Lucia,
have to take a serious financial look at how because we all want results, and we all cry down on our nation all the time. We cry down on our own people, lack of this, lack of that. But one of the biggest problems is lack of money. Get me?
Lack of money for sports.
For sports. That's what I'm saying. Right. That's one of the biggest problems.
Yeah, lack of money for sports.
I mean, there are other issues, but we have to really start. Everybody have to come together, the stakeholders, and sit down seriously, because you have to be realistic about it. It takes a lot of money to get to where we want to go, and we can't just be looking at it naively anymore if we want to achieve something realistically. So we've got to see how we can deal with that paucity of money that we've been trying to get all these champions out of and all of that.
And trust me, if I go to my next question, I'll say it. When Team St. Lucia left for Tokyo, I saw a few clips. Darren Sammy was one of them who made noise, and I really do support what he said. Persons busy about the whole politicking. Nikili left with the coach, and there was nothing. All right. God forbid St. Lucia wins bronze. Just bronze. I'm not referring to gold. Just bronze. The same politicians that have no time for the athlete that left here, because the others were overseas, they'll be the first on the tarmac in Vford. They'll be the first in the VIP lounge at Kiranora. And this is what I call hypocrisy. And I don't give no bones about it. That's just the reality. Yeah. Mark my word. And I know some people not too pleased about that statement. But we need to be there for the athletes. Those persons involved could have taken 5 minutes of their busy schedule to say goodbye and all the very best. But they were too busy, too busy on the campaign trail. And this is not our culture. We need to build a culture where we support our athletes in this country, regardless of color, or regardless of how busy you are. We need to support. Even if you have to send the permanent secretary or the deputy permanent secretary or the person who is involved, the sports director, someone need to be there to say goodbye and all the very best. And y'all can get vexed if y'all want, but I make the statement. Vernon, what next for you in terms of tournaments this year?
Tournaments for the juniors?
For the juniors, yeah.
Well, we have a couple tournaments in August at the National Tennis Center, some local tournaments, and there's a possibility that we may have a few players coming from some islands close by. I'm not sure how that's confirmed yet, but there are some tournaments.
And that's coming from on your side?
No, that's coming from the association.
The association. And what about your follow-up in terms of your tournaments?
My follow-up, I'm allowing what the association have planned first, and then I will pursue my next tournament. So,
any idea when?
Well, I was looking at August, but I'm not sure if that's going to be possible with what's coming up.
And your number is 721
5150.
5150. Because I want to make an appeal to St. Lucia. You can give Vernon Lewis a call. All right? 721-5150. Come on board and make his tournament a success. 721-5150. He will need your support, financial wise, to make it happen for the young men and women we have in the sport of tennis. That's all I'm saying, St. Lucia. That's all. It's not about the movie. It's about the young people. So let's do it for them. When they do good, we happy. When they sit on the block giving trouble, we vex. But we don't want them on the block. We want them on the court, on the playing field. That's why we want them. Okay? I salute you all, St. Lucia.
Well said.
Carbon board. What do you see tennis? I won't say 5 years, in the next 3 years for St. Lucia.
Well, where tennis will be in the next 3 years has to do with what steps you take now, because it's not like it's just going to arrive in 3 years. There's a lot of good going on. I'm not one of these people who just like to bash, people, because I see there's a lot of good going on. We have some people working hard, working hard on the court, teaching a lot of people, and creating a lot of numbers. Tennis is in a good place with numbers right now. Right now they have some tennis camps going on at the National Tennis Center, and you see the coaches are working hard. They're working hard. They have a lot of young players, people engaged on the courts every day, all day long. And so you see it's in a good place with the quantity, but we have to start looking at quality. We have to really get, not just in tennis, but in every sport. We can't just reproduce quantity. We have to think about reproducing quality, because the quality supports the quantity.
Yeah.
The quantity needs those elite athletes to look up to. So the transition from the quantity to the quality can always be going on all the time. So what we really need now is just to come together seriously without any lip service and put things in order for the quality of the athletes we have across the board. Something realistic, as far as the training and the money, and obviously the key ingredient we lack here, and we have to get over it. We have to believe in ourselves. Not just the athlete believing in himself, which is something that has been a struggle to get athletes from St. Lucia to believe that they are world-class athletes, to get over that psychological barrier, which I never had, which allowed me to beat players from all over the world. But I saw other players near me who struggled with that, and it's not just a belief of yourself, but for the entire environment to believe in itself too. Believe in the administration of the St. Lucia, believe in the coaches of St. Lucia, believe in the people. Have a more self-punchy belief rather than always looking outside, because people from outside can only come and leave, or they might come for something and leave, or something of that nature. But if you kind of put all your resources in those you have here, you can perpetuate what you're doing over and over, and then the final ingredient is the money. Put your money where your mouth is.
Yes.
And come together and create the structures and be consistent at all the great events, because we have the talent. We have a lot of
of course.
We have a lot of great young tennis players, boys and girls, and we have players that could really do things in the future, but we have to come together and look at things realistically,
collectively,
and chart the way for them.
I'm going to put you in a position, and Dave Pascal must be laughing at that question. Do you believe tennis currently needs someone of vibrant executive with new ideas to move the sport forward? Or are we, I live here, satisfied with what we have and leave it as is?
Yeah, well, like I say, we first of all, my first thing is, we have to come together, because it's not one person who can make a difference, or just the removing of one person, or things like that. I believe all of these things start at the very top. Mm-hmm. So, structures have to be put in place from the ministerial level for there to be transparency and accountability in associations towards some kind of top umbrella. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because everything is lacking is transparency and accountability and structures. And I don't believe we've taken the time to create a modular system, a proper system that can bring transparency and accountability of all associations to one general umbrella association and make it work realistically. So you can monitor all your top players, what assistance they're getting, what tournaments they're going to, or are your top players going to tournaments, or are lesser players going to tournaments because of favoritism or whatever. Nobody knows. And you know what I've come to realize in St. Lucia? Everything that happens in one spot happens in another. No one spot is immune to the problem of anything. If you go in dancing or you go in anything that happens there, you find each sport has the same issues. So obviously there needs to be a serious sitting down of people and look at the model and fix it, fix it from the top, bring transparency, accountability to all the associations, and have a supreme association that's working, not just there, and working in the benefit of the goals that you want to get to. And I always use Usain Bolt as my perfect module for creating a top player. A long-term systematic development at home with the Jamaican coach, from youth from small to top class sprinting, and money behind him. Simple. Doesn't get more simple than that. Long-term systematic scientific development at home and money. This is the same model we should follow here.
Bolt made 30 million. Just winning medals at the Olympics,
But you see what happens here? What happens here is as the kids starting on their training here, because we don't have a belief in ourselves and a system that we believe in, everybody deviates and takes bits of pieces everywhere. And it's like trying to build a nice car with scrap metal. And you see why you always have players just end up playing average college tennis all the time, or college sports all the time. So if we could look at the Usain Bolt module and try and empower our people there, empower the associations, empower the coaches there, empower ourselves, and put our money where our mouth is. Because becoming a pro is not the best way to become a pro is to be there. If you're there long enough, you get used to it.
I've always said, when it comes to talent and potential, we have that in St. Lucia. But what Vernon just said there, we need to come together. Every federation need to come. This one doing this and this one doing that. With somebody's free just selling by the market. That one have a trader, that one have a trader. We need to come together.
And we can't forget, we have some good young players overseas too. Let's not forget.
Yes.
Max Williams, he's in Florida. Jordan Hunt in Florida. Megan Williams in Virginia at her university. And we have Georgia going up now. And then we have a next generation, next set
coming
that are for the next year. And I'll tell you what, we have some talent after these that are mind-boggling right now. We have some talent here that is out of this world. But as long we need to come together and create the
most definitely
the things to back them up.
Your final thoughts?
Well, my final thoughts is that I just wish all the sports people, all the associations, I wish everybody the best in the future. And I just hope that we could everybody could just come together and try to realistically deal with the situation of making the top class athletes and not just give it lip service, but seriously do what it takes to make it happen. And if we don't do that, we have no reason to bash or criticize anybody, because we haven't put the things in place to make it happen. So let's try and come together, put the differences aside, and be more, how can I put it, be more greatness oriented. So when we see great talent and things coming out of St. Lucia, we should be proud of it. And because when I was growing up, I must say, one of the good things is that people were very skill oriented, which means if you're walking down the road and you saw somebody doing something really great, you stop.
Yeah.
You watch. If you went to the field and you saw this great fellow, you stop, you watch. Great, you stop. Nowadays people walk right by these things, and they don't pay it no mind.
Not at all.
So that's an issue. That's a big change to when I was growing. Everybody was, wow, Jayut, wow, wow, and then you just appreciate it naturally. But nowadays, it's like you find a way not to appreciate.
But we have some pics, but I'm not going to show you the pics just yet. But there's something I need to say. And I'm calling the powers that be. I believe Vernon Lewis has proven himself, and the time is now to look and think collectively to rename the National Tennis Center in Beausejour the Vernon Lewis Tennis Center, VLTC. It doesn't have to be Independence Day or National Day celebration. A day under the sun is good enough. And if you ask me why, such suggestions is my humble opinion and a fitting tribute. One would expect the government of the day and the Taiwan Republic of China, who donated the facility a few years ago, and the National Tennis Federation to do the necessary scrutiny and approval. When you walk or drive, we have a small number of sporting facilities such as the Minu Philip Park, the Philip Master Grounds, the George Odlum Stadium, the Beausejour Cricket Ground, the Gardens Court, named after prominent sportsmen.
The Darren Sammy Cricket Ground?
Darren Sammy. We also have Noki Avenue in Monrepo, named after the 2004 Olympian long distance runner, Zephaniah Joseph. World Run high jumper and multiple sportsmen for the year, and 4-time Olympian Levin Spencer. And if you drive through Kako Babuno, you will see a road sign, Levin Spencer Drive. With that said, Lewis leads 2-0, and now going to serve for match point and the championship. I simply hope the final comments I made there, as much as the politicians busy this evening, the message will reach them, and to come together and to rename the National Tennis Center the Vernon Lewis Tennis Center. And I know the nays have it. We have some pics, Vernon, for you to watch. And the pictures you're going to see here is some of the players that took part in your tournament. The person before was Georgia Medrick. Then we have Joey Angeloni, Alyssa Elliott, her brother Nathan Elliott, and we have the sisters, the Amara sisters. And they're just from Kaimaja area there.
Yeah. Right, they live right next to the court.
Yeah, Ayana Paul. Latoya Murray. Matthew Paris.
Iran.
Yeah, Iran.
Iran Gerald.
And here we see Lewis presenting Georgia and Alicia Elliott the medals at the event they held in April, May. And of course, this was a token from Taxi, and that was done by Matthew Harris' mum, Dr. Harris. And here you have...
No, actually Taxi was the one who sponsored that token, that voucher themselves.
Yeah, 150 I think for some sporting. Yeah. Again,
thanks to Taxi.
St. Lucia, St. Lucia, we're doing good things. Quickly, we look at some Olympic quickly, and then we say goodbye. Of course, the Olympic symbol, for some of you who don't know, that's the Olympic fact of the day. The Olympic symbol consists of 5 circles of rings, and this ring stands for the 5 continents. Africa, yellow; the Americas, red; Asia, green; Europe, black; and Oceania, blue. And we have the picture for you to see. That's it here. And of course, that was taken last week. The Olympic rings in the bay in Japan. And the next pic, if you look carefully, you will see St. Lucia right there. Barbados, St. Vincent and the Grenadines, Jamaica, St. Kitts and Nevis, Trinidad and Tobago, you name it. We are the Olympics. And we will come strong. Rest assured, St. Lucia. And of course, just before coming to studio, in terms of medals, we had China with 3 golds, 1 bronze, Italy, 1 gold, 1 silver, Japan, 1 gold, 1 bronze, and the Republic of Korea, 1 gold and 2 bronze. Then you have Hungary, Iran, Ecuador, and Kosovo, 1 gold each. And we have some pics there. The first person to win a medal, Yan Yang. That's Osaka, Naomi Osaka. She lighted the torch, and of course, to set things going yesterday at the Olympic in Japan. And of course, this is Qian Yang of China, a shooter. She won the first gold medal. And that's her hair again with a medal. And this is an Iranian, Javad. He won the pistol gold for Iran. And as always, St. Lucia, I have my 2 cents to deliver. I won't be long. But before I do that, I want to send out my sincerest condolences to 2 very close friends. One, if you don't know, Dave's Dubois. And Dave's a former Roadbuster, a former founder member of the Roadbusters Club. And of course, Dave and myself, we were by the Derrick Walcott Square on June 23rd, 1985, when we named the club Roadbusters. Dave, his wife Herminia, who passed some time back, and the likes of Tony Faisal, Tony Thomas, Tony B. Beauville, Michael Cosme, John Gaston, Victor Ledgers, and Gilbert Apti, Ijamo Eugene, John George, who passed, Kandye Esnat, who passed. And those were the persons who made road running in St. Lucia what it was. And of course, Dave passed last week. And if you didn't know, he's also part of my family. It's just straight how things happen in the world. Because his son married to my cousin. So I extend our sincerest condolences to the Dubois family. And of course, the next person I need to mention is Makiba Al-Sid, grandmother, who passed on Wednesday. And I know her growing up as a child as Miss Aina. And she passed this week. And of course, I had Makiba on the program once. And of course, she have called into the program on 2 occasions. I want to extend my sincerest condolences to those persons and to those families, because I know them very, very well and very, very close. Because my mom and myself, we used to live next door in my growing up years. So I want to extend my sincere condolences, and of course, on behalf of UTV and of course all the fans who watch this program. St. Lucia, I want to wish you, those going to the respective services tomorrow, near and far, serve journey mercies and enjoy. And of course, those persons, please remember the protocol, COVID protocol is still on. And please, as we enter the home stretch for election, I want to say to St. Lucians, please drive with due care and attention. Don't drink and drive. And please respect the opinions of the other person. In time like this, you walk away from unnecessary trouble. As always, continue to support our lawmen and lawwomen, and of course our frontline workers. I want to wish St. Lucia an enjoyable weekend, and of course you have your right on Monday to extend your voting right to select a government to run or to lead us until the next 5 years. Again, on behalf of UTV management and my guests, I want to thank you for coming.
My pleasure.
Pretty interesting.
My pleasure. It's been a pleasure.
And of course, all the fans who listen on television and of course on Facebook, I say thank you. Debo, I'm gone.